This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And with me today for this SNN Live is Mike Nall. He is the CEO of Biocept. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is BIOC. Mike, it's been a while. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
So thank you for joining me again today. And before we get into some recent updates and highlights and all those key things that I know our investor audience wants to know, let's get an overview of Biocept and to go from there.
Sure. Well, Biocept is one of the leaders in liquid biopsy. And if the viewers on the show do a Google search, they'll find a lot of hits on liquid biopsy. But what we do is we help patients who have been diagnosed with cancer by isolating circulating tumor cells and circulating tumor DNA out of a simple blood specimen and deliver information that normally requires a surgical procedure or a tissue biopsy. So it's really disruptive and revolutionary in the way that oncologists are managing their patients with cancer.
Got it. So, the last time we actually had you on was, this may seem like millennia ago, but it was only 4 years ago. So I'm not going to ask you for every single update since then, but let's get some highlights from 2019.
Yeah, well, we've done a lot in 2019, and I'm excited to continue to share more news with investors. One of the big accomplishments we made in 2019 is we went from just being only a CLIA lab, in other words, the specimens all come into my lab in San Diego and perform there, to be able to take our testing we've developed and put it into what we call kits or boxes, and now sell that to other folks. So that part of our business is growing, while the majority of our revenue is still gained from the laboratory itself. So that was a big accomplishment in 2019. Another big accomplishment was the validation of an additional specimen type beyond blood sample for liquid biopsy, and that's called cerebral spinal fluid. And we announced that towards the end of 2019, and we're launching that as we speak this year. And this helps folks who have metastatic cancer to their brain. So these are people that truly need help, and our test can help identify a better treatment regimen potentially for them that can help save and extend life. So that's one of the most important things we did last year.
Got it. So, we're already in March 2020, and the company's put out a good amount of news, even up until now, for starting at the beginning of this year. So, can you elaborate on some of the press releases you guys put out this year?
Sure. Well, we've put out that we've been able to get more data out there. And in fact, that's something else that's coming along, is continuing to put more data out there. But one of the big things is that we've had a lot of confidence with investors, and we appreciate that very much. And so we've been able to raise enough cash now to get us through the end of this year. So I think investors will be happy to know that. And notably, these financings that we've done have all been at market and with no warrants. So that's been a nice thing for investors as well.
Got it. And I mean, how would some of these news releases also, other than what you're doing in terms of the money raise, how are they, I would say, going to affect the company long term, other than the money raise?
Well, for one thing, the cerebral spinal fluid is a true differentiator. As far as we know, we're the only liquid biopsy company to have validated cerebral spinal fluid as a specimen type for both circulating tumor cells and circulating tumor DNA. And this is really important because if you think about helping these patients that have brain metastases, a biopsy is impossible. Right? And so you're not going to go in and biopsy their brain. So very often it's uncertain how best to treat them because you can't get information around the fluid that's closest to the brain. The blood is helpful, but not as helpful as the fluid that surrounds the brain, which is cerebral spinal fluid. So we're able to isolate that and analyze it for these biomarkers that physicians need to make treatment decisions. So I think that's going to be able to really differentiate us against some of the other folks out there and allow us to continue to grow our company.
And Mike, from what you can tell us, what's the one thing investors should look out for the rest of Q2 going into the summer?
Well, for one thing, we'll be reporting our year-end results and 4Q results here towards the end of March. But the most important things are our continued progress with our cerebral spinal fluid launch, as well as with our distributed products, our kits and our blood collection tubes that folks use in their own laboratories to perform the same type of testing we perform in our lab at Biocept.
And where could audience go and find more information about Biocept?
Well, always at our website at biocept.com. And in addition, I'll be speaking at the Roth Conference coming up here in just about a week and a half, right down the road here in beautiful Laguna Niguel.
I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do the interview today.
Thank you, Bobby.